I've always known in my mind that I just want to leave our places in a better position than when I took them over. I looked at my father, and when I was a kid I thought he was the best farmer in the world. But when I started doing things our way, I'm thinking, hell, that's not the right way to do it. It was about 13 years ago. There was a conference in Cairns, and a member of a green organisation said cane farmers were environmental vandals, and that pissed me off. And I wanted to prove that statement wrong, and I just felt Catalyst was the perfect vehicle to prove that statement wrong. I love farming. There's nothing more rewarding than putting in a year's hard work to see a good crop of cane with good CCS. That, to me, that is very rewarding.
Between ownership and leasing, I think we farm about 650 hectares. I left school in 1974 and started on the farm, and I've been here ever since. We got two boys, the two older, there's Sam and then Joe, and they want to succeed and they want to make the farm grow. You know, if we can get enough hectares together, you know, you like to think they can make a living, because we can grow fibre very cheap, you know, like hemp and stuff like that. You know, what we need to do is process it and find a market for it, but we can grow biomass in this environment, and hopefully that'll be a saving grace in years to come.
Farming's a pretty good lifestyle, and you know, we want to continue the legacy of what Dad's done and my grandfather's done before him.
Even when we were young, like at after school, we were always helping on the farm whenever we could. I guess that's where we got the love of the farm, and the machinery is what I'm really interested in, and we had a lot of that to work on and do that. And so once I finished school, I did an apprenticeship as a diesel fitter.
When chopper harvesters were in their infancy, they'd spend all slack, you'd call it, you know, chopping this off and putting a bigger motor, doing this, and a big workforces then, you know, like there was 4 brothers here and a couple of fully employed men here, and the old man, and then you get another crew when the harvesting's on, so there's people everywhere. They had to do something. But he'd never mind trying anything new. You know, we had choppers, if there's one we would get it, we'd billet planters, everything that come along, we're happy to give it a go.
We first heard about Catalyst. We have a little cooperative in Bloomsbury with the Considine and Simpsons family, and we were doing that sort of work prior to that anyway. So we're always developing new farming methods, working together, sharing the cost, and it's a great little thing to have in a community, to have 3 like-minded growers. So we basically, Catalyst, built on what we had already, but made it a lot more resources available to do what we wanted to do, and we've grown since then dramatically. 100 growers up and down the coast who are doing the same thing as us, and hey, don't do it that way because we did that and this happened. Don't do it this way, we did that and this happened, but do it this way because this has got some advantages. So it's the networking component that made it so much easier to be innovative, to look at the trials, look at how they did it, and take components of that to add to what we were doing. So a lot of that's not reported, a lot of that's not a way you can do it, it gives us the ability to fine-tune our innovation, because it can be extremely costly to do it wrong. And we've done a fair few extremely costly wrongs, but by utilising that knowledge base, and growers are so smart, they're so innovative, and every area is different too. So what's innovative in another area, we'll take components of that and build onto what we're doing here. It's just an amazing resource.
The first meeting I went to was at the harbour when they were looking for farmers to join. And the first meeting we had with the WWF with a group of farmers was in our shed. Pete Fillet and Juliet King, who was an environmental lawyer. And after showing them and explaining them what this trial was hoping to show, Pete turned around and looked at Juliet and he said, if I did not see this with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. That's when I thought, well, we've got to open our doors to these people and just show them what we do, because obviously they are not getting the right message. If you want people to see and respect that message, is to show them what you're doing. And open door policy has been on our properties ever since. Project Catalyst, really, when you look at it in our industry, it is the only platform where farmers can talk to farmers about farming issues in the whole of the sugar industry. There's no other platform like it. And when you get the state government and the federal government looking over our shoulder, that gives me a sense of achievement that we've done something. There's people out there looking at us and wanting to learn. To me, that's great. We've done something right.
I've met people all the way up and down the coast, and a lot of them be at the the Catalyst Forum, and I just enjoy talking about different ideas and trying to get more highly mechanised. There's always, we think we've done everything, but there's always scope for for new innovation, and that's what I really enjoy doing, more so than driving a tractor, I think.
It's evolved from just steering straight lines to now it does variable rate and a data, keep records on it, which is handy for all the regulations. Technology is going to reduce labour or reduce inputs from variable rate mapping and stuff like that. If we reduce inputs, there'll be reduced outputs.
We've spent millions of dollars. Water quality is accomplished by not just changing practices, it's also accomplished by we've got our own laser now. We're levelling country and getting drainage correct was the biggest change in our productivity by a country mile. That was our biggest factor. So getting the water on and off when we need to, but then putting the water through. We must have 6 or 7 tailwater pits, wetlands, sediment traps, various things. All of them have basically pumps in them because they're useless if they're full. We need for the water to sit there, so we're pumping that water back on. So incorporating the drainage and the water is a massive component to how we operate.
The last trial that we were involved in was mapping the variability of soybean. That was done, 3-4 years ago. And now we're using drone technology to do that mapping. So we map the biomass of our soybean, and where the soybean did not germinate, that's where we apply the nitrogen. Where the soybean is good, where we know we've got plenty of nitrogen, we don't apply nitrogen. Therefore, the variable rate technology comes into play. The very first year that we did this was about 3-4 years ago. I think we saved nearly $3,000. Looking back now, I feel I am disadvantaged because of the lack of schooling. Technology has passed me. We learn so much from other people. Listening to other farmers, what they're doing or what they're trying to do and what they're trying to achieve. It's a holistic thing. It's just farmers feeding off farmers.
The first thing we did was our mill mud spreader, which had never really been done, and we started banding mill mud on top of the rows, and that spreader's still going, and I think that inspired a lot more spreaders in the area, to band nutrients, and that's the whole principle, was control traffic, put all your nutrients and everything where it grows cane, nothing in the wheel tracks, and up until then you hadn't been able to do it. So that's where the innovation come from, and then led on to other things. We had, there's so many, shielded sprayers. They're all mainstream things now, but they were different things. I don't know how many people come and have a look at that mud spreader, and there's still people say, I saw that on YouTube or whatever, and I've been to your farm to look at that, and they're people that you always enjoy talking to. This is the good part of farming I like.
Him being so open to new changes, any of our ideas are never a stupid idea. So, or some of them might be, but
we talk about it all the time. Like we talk about different ideas in the morning, and we all seem to agree pretty well straight away. So we're on the same page, I think, when it comes to where we want to be.
We want to be a profitable farming enterprise, like everyone else. So that's why we try to grow other crops when sugar prices are down, to iron cash flow out.
Well, we did a bit of trial work with it a few years ago with a soybean, chickpea, soybean crop again. Over the past few years, the sugar price has been down, so we've given us opportunity to get back into that. Any grain crops the value's been a bit higher than what it normally is, so it's paying its way quite easily. And then the outcome of that is the sugar crop is the soil health and just to increase yield in the sugar.
Innovation is absolutely the key to improving productivity. utilising mud totally different to what we used to do years ago. Our ability putting that under the ground, but utilising the mounds and then utilising the nutrients and the nitrogen and the trace elements in that product to grow our cover crops. Builds soil health by utilising that mud in that way, and then utilising that builds into the cover crops we're growing, and now we're looking at doing totally different sorts of cover crops in totally different ways than we've ever done before. So that's probably one of the biggest changes is our fallow management. We're now commonly up in the top few in the mill area now for our productivity. We achieved 118 and change this year for one of our farms here in Bloomsbury, which was, yeah, we've done 139 was our previous best. So that's not figures you associate with Bloomsbury when you drive past it, I'd assume, most growers. So huge numbers. To get over 18 tonne of sugar a hectare is testament to our new farming systems and what we're doing.
As a farmer who respects the soil that we farm, that is everything to me. Productivity will lead to profitability as well as the environment, and any one of those three issues is missing, not on. It's not Project Catalyst. The runoff water from our properties, if it has nutrients or chemicals in it, I want to know, because I'm wasting money. Simple as that. I would like to see, we've got 5 properties and none of them are joining, which makes it very hard. I'd like to see water monitoring on every property.
One thing about the Catalyst growers, I do think, is they've got an awareness of what they're applying. They've got an awareness of what can leach out if it's done wrong. We don't want to pollute the oceans and the creeks, and I mean, it'd be nice to have a time where all our water and the tailwater pits, we monitor it in, monitor it out. I think, especially in our area here, there's a lot of innovation there. It's a good place to farm. There's a lot of young blokes, and I could name them all, but they know who they are. And I've made sort of long-term friends from the Catalyst projects. It's provided a forum to keep meeting those people. That's what I like the best about it.
We've always done something different to everyone else, which I take my hat off to them, because it is hard. Everyone looks, but I think in the long run, like everything, we're just a long way in front of our time. He's been a good role model to myself and Jay.
From being innovative to his work ethic, that's the reason why I'm on the farm and doing what we're doing. We're lucky to have a great network of young growers here. We all talk a lot. They're very keen and quite clever young growers, and they're passionate about the industry and see like water quality issues as one of our big things in our business.
Just a lot of trial and error to get what we're happy with to work in our new system, and I could probably count about 7 different planting profiles or systems, whether it be the dual row or the single row or the widths of our dual rows, or when we take cane out first round now, it's gone straight away. We're getting longer fallows, and our soil health is dramatically changing because of that and because of the cover cropping. So the whole business is sort of being built around that now for our agronomy side.
Everything we do is for a reason. Growing our soybeans, we've invested in a header for harvesting the grain, and storage to store the grain so we could transport it.
And modified it to suit our farming system, so it's
so we have modified it to suit like a 2 metre rows, and just to start doing a bit of zero till and minimum till.
We do all, like from planting to harvesting, everything. So all that efficiency, all that 2 metre, that water rows, all adds up every day for us with every pass in the paddock. We all have very similar ideas, and all very interested in new ideas, and which is why the Project Catalyst is a great forum for young growers to be around sort of innovative farmers and to get them keen, because that's what you need.
There's still a lot of work we can do with our soil. We're not even touching the surface with our soil quality. We've come a long way to go, but yeah, we're getting good results, but it's just building on what we've done the last decade.
It's saving us money, and it's good for the environment.